Hi, it's Kathy, and it looks like we are now live for our Q&A today, and I'm going to be talking about raw cleansing and cleansing in general to give you guys some tips and hints on things that you can do to feel better, to eat healthier. And if we have any attendees, they can pop on and ask any questions. Go ahead and ask them as the seminar is going. And then at the end, I will read through any that we have and answer them live on air. So my name is Kathy Peterman, and I'm a registered nurse. I've been so for more than 34 years. And I love nutrition. I have since I was a young kid. And I have studied a lot about raw cleansing. Basically, it's eating raw foods and going off of processed foods, alcohol, caffeine, and such, so that your body can clean itself out. One of the things that I do that is very different is that I do not drop dramatically in the calories. I try to keep people at the 1,500 to 2,000 calories a day range. You will still lose weight. You will lose a lot of inches as inflammation leaves your body, and you'll feel good, have good energy, that glowing skin, sleep better at night. A lot of times people who have pain often get some relief. There's a lot of benefits, but I'll be going through that on this little slideshow. So let me pull that up right now so that you can see it along with me. And there we go. Just peeking that you can see it too. So I wrote a book called Raw Cleansing as a Pathway to Health, and this is the cover of it. Basically, I just love fruits and vegetables and have found them to be one of the most healing things in the body. I say that nutrition sometimes is quite controversial. You're going to find all kinds of opinions out there. The one thing that is rarely argumented about is that we all could stand to eat more fresh, alive fruits and vegetables in our diet to be healthier. We're normally supposed to get 7 servings of all of those together in a day, and it's estimated that only 13% of Americans even hit that. So very important thing. A little bit about me. As I said, I've been a registered nurse for 34 years. I love health and nutrition. I started doing cleanses back in the 70s, originally with a master cleanse, which is where you have water, lemon juice, molasses, and cayenne pepper. And that's all that I took into my body for an entire week. I was going to college and had a very busy schedule. What I realized is that it was quite easy. I was hungry in those first few days, but once you get past day 3 or 4, I had a real surge in energy. And at the end of the week, I lost 10 pounds and I fit in my clothes better and was, just pleased with that. But it's quite drastic in that you're really not taking any calories in and you're really not taking in any nutrition. And as fate would have it, I actually started craving. I thought, oh, I should make some food. And then I thought, oh, let's bake some bread. So I made a loaf of bread and proceeded to eat that whole loaf of bread. So what I found was that when you really cheat the body of the calories and nutrition, it kind of ricochets. A lot of times people who go on crash diets will actually gain more weight. And so it was a good thing to learn. I learned that that is a little bit more dramatic than I choose to do. Then in 2002, Anne Louise Gettleman wrote her first book about the Fat Flush Plan. And I discovered that. And what she talks about is that a lot of times we're holding on to excess weight because our livers are somewhat toxic from medications we've been taking, chemicals in our environment, etc. So her whole book was all about how to detoxify your liver to assist with weight loss. And so I did her fat flush and I lost about 10 pounds, but I had a new thing that came on the horizon, and that was somebody said, oh my gosh, your skin just looks beautiful. And I, at the time, turned around to see who they were talking to, but there was no one behind me. And so it was part of me realizing how much nutrition also affects not only how we feel, what we weigh, but also how we appear to other people. And I had had acne much of my life. So for somebody to compliment me on my skin was unheard of. And so I knew I was on to something. So I've kind of gathered up each little lesson along the way and incorporated it all together and created a plan that works great for me and that many others have done along with me. So it's a high rod diet. And I also did that back in 2011 for the first time, just eating predominantly raw foods, probably 75% raw. And I did that for 11 weeks. And I'll show you a picture later just so you can see what I look like before and after. What I found is incorporating all these things together and doing seasonal raw cleanses is a great way to keep me focused on how much nutrition matters to me and allow me to tune into my health and really focus on that for typically 2 to 4 weeks at the change of each season. I often will skip winter because I live in Portland and it does get colder here. We also have less access to great fruits and vegetables. So for me, I just skip winter and do spring, summer, and fall. Why do a cleanse? It's a great question. Here again, you could tell in my story that I originally started doing it because I wanted to lose weight. But what I found over time was it was all those other benefits that I've gotten that matter far more to me than what my weight is. I want to be healthy, not just thin. I want to be fit, not just thin. And so raw cleansing has been one way for me to get a lot of these other benefits that we'll go over. Here's that picture I promised you. So this is 2011, and on the left, let's see, I'll get my little cursor here so you can see. Here is me with the front shot before. All I did not change my activity. I didn't like suddenly start going to the gym. I just started eating 75% raw foods. So here's the before front view, here's the before side view. And then 11 weeks of doing this, you can see the front view here, a little less rolls. Obviously my hair's put back in one and not in the other, but you could tell that I have lost quite a bit of inches. But when you come over here, the side view, I think even shows more. And so I only lost 5 pounds. And one of the things that I learned is that it's really important to take your measurements, not just your weight, because had I only done my weight and not done these pictures and my measurements, I would have said, oh, I only lost 5 pounds in 11 weeks. That's really not much. But if you look at the inches in the arms and the bust and the waist in particular, and then in the hips and thighs, you could tell that there was a lot of inflammation in my body that went away. I've tried at times to capture a picture that shows the inflammation in the face, because that's another place where it shows up a lot. And it's not always real easy to compare those. In my book, I do have a picture. There's just tends to be a lot more puffiness around the eyes. And then after a cleanse, I often look younger, and people will comment or say, wow, you look really good, or things like that. If they don't know what I'm doing, they will notice that my face, my skin looks better. What I would say is I eat pretty good most of the time. I happen to be vegan, and I eat a whole foods diet predominantly. I am not perfect though. I do eat ice cream. I do put sugar in my tea and stuff like that. And so doing a raw cleanse is a way to periodically focus on my health and eating better. I try to take each of the good habits that I have and carry them into my regular day-to-day life, such as drinking lemon water in the morning and juicing fairly regularly, having salads almost every day. But I still see a benefit when I go 100% raw for a period of time. So some of the benefits: improved energy, clear glowing skin, more mental clarity, stronger intuition, feeling more present and connected. People also talk about their creativity being enhanced, being more in the flow, less inflammation, weight loss, improved hydration, because I think you're getting a lot of the natural vitamins, minerals, and enzymes in your body. It really does help with hydration. And slowed aging. I've got some good pictures to show you later on of that. And often people have reduced symptoms of disease. Inflammation in the short term is an awesome thing. Like you fall down, you skin your knee. Well, you bleed, it gets swollen, it hurts, you might bruise. All of those things in that area start, it even sometimes will get somewhat red or warm, not like infected, but just it calls all the red blood cells and the white blood cells to come do their job, as they know how very well to do, like to clean out the area and help healing start. But chronic inflammation is what causes disease in the body. It is a predominant thing in diseases such as diabetes and heart disease and a lot of other diseases, arthritis, obviously, inflammation of the joints, etc. So when we're talking about doing a raw cleanse, I want to tell you what is included and what's not. So we include all fruits, all vegetables, berries, raw nuts and seeds, sea vegetables, raw herbs and spices, and sprouts and superfoods. Superfoods is a whole category of mostly fruits and vegetables that do have healing qualities and have been noted for those healing qualities. So we like to include those. But there's other things that are like lucuma and maca and other things that also are called superfoods. Things that you're going to avoid are caffeine, alcohol, cooked foods, processed foods, baked goods, and processed sugars. Here is just a picture of what's called the V10 juice. It's all the ingredients that go into making this really nice. It's like a V8, only way better juice. And then you sprinkle a little cayenne in it. So it's got those Roma tomatoes, a lemon, jalapeno, carrots, a beet with the beet greens, a red pepper, red bell pepper that is, some kale, some spinach, some cilantro, and parsley and celery. Very, very tasty drink. And definitely the cayenne even adds to it. So what's different about my cleanses? I do it in phases where it's not just about juice. A lot of people, when they do a cleanse, they maybe do a 3-day juicing. But what I do is juice for the first phase, and then in phase 2, I add in salads, smoothies, and whole fruits and vegetables and keep that juice going. And then phase 3, I have all those things plus some raw seeds and nuts. So what that does is it gives you something constantly to look forward to. It allows you to experience that nice supercharged juice where your gut can rest in the beginning and then gradually gets a little bit more complex for your body. Gives you the fiber in phase 2 and then gives you a little bit more protein in phase 3. For people who are new to cleansing, I encourage them to do a 6 to 7 day cleanse. So if you're doing a 6-day cleanse, it would be 2 days for phase 1, 2 for phase 2, and then 2 days for phase 3. As people go along and have done other cleanses, they might advance to doing a couple-week cleanse or a 3-week or 4-week. When I do a 3-week, then it's a week in each of these phases. Here's a picture. I just want to show people that it is a lot of gourmet and very tasty foods. So this is a chocolate smoothie that is in phase 2, and it's got some superfoods in it. Really tastes good. What we want to do is eat the energy that we want to become. And when you do a cleanse, you really get to understand what this means. You can start almost feeling the energy of different foods when you walk in the grocery store, and know that that middle section with all the processed foods is, those foods taste good, etc., but they often don't leave us feeling as good and don't tend to have as much nutrition per calorie in them. So, as I said, for people who are new to this, I would say start with 6 to 7 days. A big thing I talk to people about is check your calendar. Don't just say, hey, I want to do it and, sign up with me or with somebody else. But look at that calendar. And if there is a month that you're looking at, where do those 6 to 7 days fit best? You want to avoid that big birthday, a graduation, running a marathon, things like that. Ideal is if you can be home for that first day for sure, and up to 3 days if possible. So a lot of times I start my cleanses on a 3-day weekend, such as this Labor Day. I'm starting one on September 5th, which is that Saturday of the Labor Day weekend. You want to remove temptations. So I often clean out my fridge and cupboards. And if there are things that will tempt me, put them in a box, give them to a friend, get them out of your reach at least. Also, to enlist support, a lot of times I've had friends and family members do a cleanse together, or we have a support group that I offer to folks that allows them to not just be doing it alone, but to be able to say, hey, today was great and here's what I did. And to also say, hey, I'm really having a tough time. I'm having a tough time with this. What are you guys doing? And have somebody to give you input on that. The other thing is that you want to plan ahead. You can't just say, okay, I'm doing a cleanse and not clean out your cupboards, go to the grocery store. Know when you're leaving your house what your next meal or two going to be for that day. So that's important. For people who are repeat cleansers, I say do everything I just told you that the newbie should do. Then to decide on your length of time, go ahead and stretch yourself a little, but go in increments that feel comfortable to you. For both newbies and repeats, I say surround yourself with books and videos and people and juice bars and things that really support your cleanse, that keep you staying in the game. I also suggest adding in pampering, doing some spa treatments at home, and I have a whole chapter in my book that's dedicated to that. To think about giving yourself a reward. When I'm doing 3 or 4 weeks of a cleanse, I will sometimes give myself a reward. Once I went to Herbivore and got a shirt that I had been looking at and really wanted. Another time I got a book about juicing as my reward, because I just love cookbooks and food preparation books. And so I got Mimi Kirk's most recent book about juicing, and that was a great reward. And doing a cleanse with other really helps, as we mentioned before. Here's another recipe. It's one that's been really popular. It's very simple. It's spinach with an orange that's been peeled and then cut into sections. And then we've got a little bit of almonds and some chia seeds. And we make a real simple dressing. I call it simple dressing. That's made out of flax oil, apple cider vinegar, and salt. And that is actually one of my favorite salad dressings. It enhances the flavor just enough, and it gives you a little bit of those healthy, essential fats that are good for the brain and good for your hormone levels, etc. It also just helps you feel a little bit more full when you eat those. And so it's a pretty thin dressing as well. So a little bit goes a long way. And here again, one of my favorites. Oops, I don't know why it's doing that. Let's see. Okay. What I say to people is because they're like, oh, I don't know, should I, shouldn't I, or I don't know if this is the right time, etc. 6 days is gonna pass whether you do this or not. So why not see how you can impact your own body and health by just going for it? I do here again encourage you to have enough time to plan and get support and get situated. In fact, about the first third of my book is all about preparation. So the better that you prepare, the more successful you will be. But to realize 6 days is going to go by, and it's worth doing this to see how good you can feel. Here is Karen Calabrese. She lives in Chicago. She's a raw foodist who has a restaurant and has also written some cookbooks. Some of her cookbooks are about soaking nuts as a way to make them more digestible and more nutritionally absorbable. And I would ask, how old does Karen look to you? Well, Karen is 68 years old, and I met her a couple years ago at the Veg Fest here in Portland, and she does indeed in real life look just like this, a very vivacious, kind, healthy woman. And here is Mimi Kirk. Mimi lives in San Diego. I'm sorry that when I lived there, I didn't know about her because she does a lot of talks in that area and such, and she's written Live Raw Around the World, and Modern Juicing are books that you can find from her on Amazon. And Mimi is only about a half year younger than my mother is. And so Mimi is 70, well, she'll be 77 next month. So she travels around the world, has a boyfriend that's quite a bit younger than her, does a lot over in Mallorca, Spain, helping people know about raw food, and just a fun lady. She has a YouTube channel as well. She's a good one to look up and find out more about raw foods from. But I show you these pictures just to help motivate you that you can, in older age, be healthy, be happy, and sometimes even look younger than your age. Not that that's what life is all about, but we all at least want to be vibrant and have energy as long as possible. So a little bit about my ebook. It's 164 pages long with 60 or more recipes. I've got a lot of photos because I'm a photographer and I love food. I love taking pictures of it, fruits and vegetables and the recipes and such. So you'll see lots of beautiful photos in there. I also love helping connect people with information. And so there are 200 links in the book, and they sometimes will show you a product like what does maca look like, or what does Wikipedia have to say about lucuma. And then some of them are links to videos, some that I've made on either how to make a certain salad or a smoothie or almond milk, etc. And some are videos that are by other raw foodists that have neat things to share. We've also got meal plans, shopping lists, and lots of tips and keys for success in there. I also am a blogger, and this is my blog. It's the thirdchapter.me, and I have a variety of sections from health to veganism, travel, spirit, simplifying your life. Those are all interests of mine, and you'll find lots of recipes and even information about raw food. In 2013, I participated in Vegan MOFO, it's called. Month of Food is what it stands for. And I blogged almost daily on doing a raw food cleanse. And so you'll find that under my vegan tab in the raw section. So the next raw challenge is coming up September 5th. That is Labor Day weekend starting on Saturday. I hope you'll join us, whether you participate with my group or you just look at the information that I have for you and find a time on your calendar to either do it by yourself or with us. I just love what I'm doing and want more people to experience these benefits. One of the things I'm doing differently this time is I'm looking at intensity. There are some people that are not ready to dive in and go 100% raw. So I'm having this time have people pick whether they're going to do one meal that's raw, two that are raw in a day, or three, meaning their whole day would be raw. So that's like how much intensity can you handle? And then once you pick that, what is the duration? Are you going to do 1, 2, or 3 weeks? So you can kind of tailor it based on your life and what's going on. The people that are in our group right now, one of them I know is going to be traveling a lot. So she's going to do a raw meal per day, and she's picked the week, and it's kind of in the middle of the cleanse. It starts September 5th and it goes till the 25th. So it's 3 weeks long. You could look anywhere in there, and feel free to join our support group if you want to for that support. So here's the details about that. Final Days of Summer Raw Challenge, September 5th to 25th for only $9.99 for the support group. And my Raw Cleanse ebook was $15, but I have marked it down significantly to $4.99. My whole goal is to get more people doing this, and so that's why I've marked the price down for right now. I do have on my store a couple of free guides as well. So this is one, the Summer Solstice Cleanse, and you can get recipes on there. And then I just about a week ago put my end of summer cleanse, end of summer raw challenge guidebook out there as well. So you can go to my store and find those for free. So we're done with the slides. What I'm going to do is come on back where you can see me and just see if we have any questions. It doesn't look like right now we do. What I'm going to say is that here's questions that I get a lot from people. So one is, I don't have a juicer. So what do I do? Because your cleanse includes juice. Day one juice is the miracle juice from Anne Louise Gettleman, and it's something you don't need a juicer for. So really you've got one main day that you need to look at having juice for. So you can go buy your juice, or you can borrow a juicer, or you can use a blender and add some water, blend it really, really well. It's best if you have a high-speed blender, and then put it through a sieve. I will confess it's not quite as good as a juicer, but it's one way to get by. So know that you've got those choices. Or if you really, some people maybe juice isn't their thing as well. You could look to day 2, just diving in and doing smoothies for that whole day if that works better for you. And I'm trying to think what some of the other questions have been. A lot of times it's been people who didn't want to do 100% raw. So I think I've taken that question out of there by having options for 1, 2, or all meals being raw in the day. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this Q&A so that those of you who want to view it can see it. I want to thank you for your time and hope that you will try a cleanse and that you feel good, and that the tips today will help make it more successful for you. And I am going to see if I can figure this out. Just one second. There was a way that I can put a link on here to my store. So I'm going to try doing it just in our thread that's on here. Just one second. So I'm going to put it right there. So I just put in the sidebar there a link to the store. And when you press on that, it will take you to the store where you can see the support group that's there. You can see the free guides that are there. You can also book time with me to either help you modify things, or if you're local, I have helped people by going grocery shopping with them. I have also partnered with the Portland Juice Company, and they are giving all my clients that join the support group 15% off. And that's a great deal. And so it pretty much pays for being in the support group just by doing that. And they're great juices. They're raw juices. They're not pasteurized, and they've got a lot of different varieties of flavors and such. So if you join the group, we'll give you the code so you can get the 15% off. So hope this has been helpful. Thanks again. I'll say bye for now. Happy cleansing.